Would you believe me if I told you that making a single, relatively small spending decision on a little old motorcycle way back in your 20s could cost you tens of thousands of dollars later in life? Well, it's true, and I'm going to use myself as an example to prove that point. So stick around for a sad story that you can use to potentially save yourself thousands and thousands of dollars. What do you say we talk about the fundamentals of the long-term costs of spending? Hello everyone, it's Mark with Money Fundamentals, where we give you the essential money knowledge you need for life. Gather around everyone, it's time for story time with Mark. Today, we're going to learn about how whenever we spend money on things, instead of saving or investing those dollars, the dollars we spend lose the ability to grow over time. Here's a short story of how I paid a lot of money for something I haven't had since 1988. The story begins way back in March of 1988 when your humble host was a strapping 23-year-old living in a one-bedroom apartment with dreams of motorcycles dancing in my head. Now, I was on the hunt for a fast, affordable motorcycle, so I did a lot of research. No Google or internet then, kids, just newspapers and phone calls. And I found a sweet 1983 Honda V45 Sabre, a speedy sport cruiser with a 750cc V4 engine and shaft drive. It was in great shape, had low miles, and was offered at a pretty fair price of just $1,300. So I gathered up all the money I had and went to check out the bike. An hour later, the bike was mine and I was in business. Man, I really enjoyed that V45. It was fast, stable, easy to handle. Riding it was pure joy, and I was sure I was as cool as Maverick in the original Top Gun, only much better looking. Well, that pure joy only lasted about 7 months. In the fall of 1988, someone stole the V45 out of the apartment parking lot. A few days later, I got a call from the police. They had found the V45 and said it appeared rideable. All I had to do was stop by the impound yard, pay the fee, and I could get the bike back. Woohoo! Back in business, buddy. Well, when I got there, I realized that appears rideable only applied if you could somehow ride a twisted, balled-up pile of steel. The V45 was crumpled up in a pile with a bent front fork and frame and a big old crack in the engine block. I didn't have the cash to repair it at that time, so I signed over to the title to the impound yard to settle up and walked away from my dream. Fast forward to today, almost 34 years later, and I wanted to see what that $1,300 I paid for the Honda would be worth if I had saved it instead of spending it. To do that, I went to a site called Portfolio Visualizer, plugged the numbers in to see what that V45 Sabre really cost me. So let's jump over there and take a look at that. Okay, here we are at Portfolio Visualizer. You can check this out yourself by going to portfoliovisualizer.com. Let's jump into it, and I'll show you what I did here. So we wanted to see what that $1,300 that I paid for that Honda motorcycle would grow to over time. So picked here the start year, 1988, the end year, 2022, and we're going to do it through, this will be through June of 2022. And what I wanted to see was, what would that money have grown to if I had invested it a few different ways? So what I did was I came up with 3 different scenarios. One would be that I put 100% of the $1,300 into stocks, represented by the Investment Company of America. The next one would be a little more conservative, doing 60% in stocks and 40% in bonds with the Bond Fund of America. And the third one would be the most conservative of all, just taking the money and putting it into banks. So nothing in stocks, nothing in bonds, and 100% in cash. So we got that set up, and let's go ahead and see what that turns into. We'll go ahead and hit the Analyze Portfolios button down here, and there we go. So here are the portfolios. Portfolio 1 is just the Investment Company of America, 100% stocks. Portfolio 2 is the mix of investment company and bond fund, 60-40, kind of a balanced allocation. A lot of people would call that balanced stock and bond investment. And the third one, cash. So let's see how these would have done. Wow, big difference. So Portfolio 1, all stocks, if I would have put that in 1988 and through June of this year, that $1,300 could have grown to $36,603, over 10% per year. Pretty good. Even if I'd taken a little more conservative approach and just put it in the mix of stocks and bonds, that $1,300 would have grown to $21,351. And the third option, just putting it in cash, that would have grown to $3,447, a little under 3% a year. Still a lot better than $1,300. So there you go. That's what it looks like. Cash is in orange, the 60-40 is in red, and 100% stock fund is in blue. So you can see starting over here in 1988 and going all the way through. Here's the drop, the dot-com bubble right here. Here is the Great Recession over here, 2008, 2009. Here is the beginning of the pandemic bear market, and then here we are today. So big difference. Even if I had just put it in cash, that $1,300 would have still grown to $3,400. So as you can see, investing the money or saving the money over the long term in a lot of cases is going to give us a lot more than just spending the money. So let's go back and talk about that a little bit. Okay, so as you saw, that V45 Sabre cost me a lot more than I thought. So what's the whole point of showing this? Well, it's to emphasize the fact that anytime we spend money on an item, instead of saving or investing those dollars, we're giving up the ability for those dollars to potentially increase in value over time. Now, over years and years, or decades in the case of my motorcycle, a relatively small amount of dollars can grow to a significant pile of money. Even cash, earning just a few percent a year, can grow to a decent amount, as you saw. Add on the extra potential growth that comes with investing, and you have the potential to dramatically increase the value of your money over time. Now, this is important because saving, investing, and building wealth over the long haul is one of the best ways to ensure that we have more options later in life rather than fewer. So anytime we trade potential long-term growth for short-term spending, we cost ourselves money in the long run. Now, there's always a cost, long-term cost, to any spending decision we make. So am I saying that we shouldn't spend money? No, not that at all. What I am saying, though, is that we should try to be a little more intentional with the money we do spend and try to make spending decisions that better match up with what is truly important to us, not only in the short term, but the long term. Money is a great tool, and it helps us get more out of life both now and in the future. So taking a little time to think about the spending decisions we make in the context of these three things will help. 1, do I really need this? 2, will I use it? And 3, will it bring me long-term happiness? Thinking about those three things will help you make spending decisions that will be more worthwhile over time. Thinking about the things we purchase using those three questions will potentially, I think, will greatly reduce the amount of unused items we accumulate, freeing up additional dollars to apply towards more important goals like saving for retirement, saving up for a home down payment, helping our children out with college, or any number of other items that are more important to us than accumulating stuff in our closet. As you go through life, try to keep the long-term view in mind as you spend the money that you have. Money tends to flow into and out of our lives fairly easily if we don't think about it. So by taking a little time to consider the true long-term cost of our spending, we can make more informed decisions that not only satisfy our short-term needs and wants, but also help us achieve those big long-term dreams and goals. That's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. please take a minute to subscribe. Give us the thumbs up, give us a like. That's a great way to help share the word about what we're doing here at Money Fundamentals, and it'll help other people find the channel to make better money decisions for themselves. Also, I'd really be interested if you want to leave a comment down below letting us know of any spending decisions or stories similar to mine that maybe you had in your past. Things that you purchased and used for a while but really didn't get a lot of value out of, that potentially could have turned into thousands and thousands of dollars, like that V45. And speaking of motorcycles, if anybody out there has a lightly used Honda V45 Sabre from 1983, give me a call. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate your time. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.